Oh, sorry. Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Nice.
So, so you sent me some hands. It's just like the some Russian cash hands, right? How many hands that was?
I sent you 39k hands, which isn't very much. I thought it was more, um,
Okay, okay.
but yeah, I guess we can, if it's okay, we can start with some questions that I have written down.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go.
Okay, sure. How do you identify when regs are Actually, I can copy paste it really quick. So, hold on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um, I'll just copy paste them. We can just go for the first one first, I guess.
Mm-hmm. How do you identify when rigs are adjusting to you or abusing MDR themselves? So I think as long as you don't actually like, as you're not 100% sure they do, they will not.
Okay.
And if they do, it's gonna be like two regs in the entire pool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think it happens. Like MDA is still like fairly new, I would say. So obviously some regs are aware of it, but you play like NL100, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
would say most.
I do play in global. I play global.
Yeah, but okay, but you play 100 NL, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I would say most players, even the regs. I think when we think about the regs, we think about good players that study a lot, which actually that there are not that many players that do that. Most of the regs they have studied a bit at the beginning of their career. They are playing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but they are in their comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like they play the same way as they used to play like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? They don't improve
Yes,
anymore.
I
So
agree
I
with
would
that.
say
Yeah.
so I would say how do you identify them? I would say you will know it when they actually do. You know what I mean? You will feel it. It will take time, obviously, and in the meantime, you have to uh, think they are not uh, exploiting you. You know what I mean?
I
And
understand.
then when you
Yeah.
when you see like on 100k hands, actual proof that they actually do understand that you are unbalanced here and there, yes, why not? But I would say like in my pool, I would say I don't have any name in my head like, oh, this guy he knows how I play. You know what I mean? Like it didn't even happen yet for me.
Sure. So
So
that's the
yeah.
first part of it when they're adjusting to you, and then
Mhm.
also some of it was the MDA themselves.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's
But
a good question.
but
So one thing I
I
want, yeah.
really quickly, I do have a like just part of this I want to clarify. A lot of the people in the pool seem to be bots. Like there's random one tablers that are like regulars, and like they're
Hmm.
short stacking fish from like China, but they're not fish. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out like who are these people that are not fish and not regs, and are they using MDA or what are they doing? Like who are they?
So
You know.
so do you actually think they are bots or you just don't know?
I don't know who they are. Like, are they people like? Oh, who are these random Chinese people that are short stacking, playing 28, 28 18 5? You know, or
Yeah,
27 like 27 18 6 or something.
mhm. And yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I know that on Snap MDA we talked about it last time, right? Snap MDA,
Yes, yes.
maybe. I can share the screen.
Well, I know EQ Poker made like a video about like what the bots are doing, how a lot of the bots are like betting small, like milking and doing all sorts of stuff, right? But
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I'm not like I don't have that much experience with like how to spot bots and how to play against them.
okay.
But yeah, no, to be honest, I don't know. I would have maybe I'm too naive, but I would have thought they are actual players. But I'm aware that there are a lot of bots now. So yeah, I guess maybe they are bots. But I would say I've heard that even though they are bots, it doesn't mean they are playing actually. Like they are not playing that well. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, they're not.
unbeatable.
They're not.
But yeah, something I wanted to say. How do you know they are abusing them MDA themselves? I would say that the most important would be that you should take notes when it doesn't seem that relevant. For example, let's say I will share my screen. It would be easier.
Yeah, sure.
I would say how you can actually spot like my deviations would be. So it's which one?
Oh,
This one. For example, let's take GTO wizard.
wait, how do I open your? Oh, watch stream. There we go. Okay.
So let's take, for example, 3-bet pot small blind against button. You're in the small blind with your dry 10-eye board. The main sizing is big. And when we see bet big, they will massively overfold. They should float like king jack suited without the backdoor flush draw. Like it's not happening. Like you bet 16 big blind and they call king jack of spades here. It doesn't happen, right? And they will fold some backdoor flush draws as well. So they will overfold. They will overfold the pocket 8, the pocket 5s, everything. But so if a player is aware of that, he will overbluff the
flop.
Why is there? Yeah, he will overbluff on the flop and he will bet big as a bluff. So let's say you face a rake, you're on the button, he bets big, and you actually see a showdown, you see a hand, you should take a note. It doesn't mean you can exploit him right away, but let's say you see king queen of spades on the flop, and then the turn he checks and he keeps up, and let's say 50k hands later you see this exact same spot, and he bets 1/3 on the flop and he has aces. Now you actually have an exploit, right? He's probably doing some kind of exploit because he knows on the flop the big c bet will be overfolded, but the small c bet won't. So
yes. Yes.
So lots of times I take some notes that are not relevant right now, but maybe later I'm gonna face this player. He's gonna bet a sizing. I'm gonna look at my notes and I will see that in a like similar spots, he actually used another sizings, and you kind of get some reads, and you probably know how if they actually study MDA, you know, because on this flop, if I have aces and pocket tens, I will bet like 25% pot, you know, in the small blind, which is really bad. But when I have king queen off, I will just bet 67% always, and that's how you can make money, you know. If you really study MDA, that's how you should play. So yeah, you should take a lot of notes and be really aware of that. But I would say it just doesn't happen as much as you think. You shouldn't worry about it too much, I would say.
I agree. Okay, let's go to the next question.
Yeah, can you give me some heuristics on when you TPI from the data in terms of continued aggression? Example, robot bets.
Yeah, so to clarify my question, I'm talking about, let's say the data says, okay, for example, I believe the data says that if we overbet the turn, that it's generally bad to follow through on the river, right?
You mean like GTO wise or like
no,
population wise?
MDA wise, MDA.
Okay, yeah, probably, yes.
Yeah, like in general, and I'm kind of asking like, hey, and also like there's a lot of spots where the bet is bad, like bet overbet turn and then like bet the river, or like after, you know, we were talking about after we check raise, then it's like maybe good to just give up a lot of the times. Like I'm kind of asking, what are you looking for so that you're not looking at MDA, but you're looking at the actual spot and you're saying, hey, like this is a good spot, you know, like this is a good spot to just keep betting the turn. I can get him to fold on the river maybe, or like, you know, like the runouts are going to be tough for him to like call down on, or, you know, what are you thinking, I guess?
So I would say sometimes you actually have some overbets and they call, and you can still jam for like two reasons, I would say. One, if they have like, let's say there are like two flush draws, there are some gut shots, you know, it's a really action drawy board. They will probably jam on the turn, you know, like you overbet and they raise because they don't want to see the river. So even though you overbet and he calls, yes, he has a good hand, he has something, but he doesn't have like two pairs plus, you know, in a single raise spot. You know what I mean? He has top pair, and then you jam the river, and he might fold. I'm not saying you should always bluff, but
Right.
like bluffing after overbetting is usually bad. But sometimes I think it's pretty good when you know that he would have played differently with the really nutted hands. You know.
Okay, so you are trusting your intuition. Like, okay, you think like you have an intuition. Hey, this guy will shove over my overbet or raise. So
Mhm.
you're just going like I'm just basically asking you like you do trust yourself still. Like you don't just go with the data always, right?
Yeah, but I would say if you look at Snap MDA or MDA in general, it's still going to be a fact. It's an MDA fact. I think if you 130 bet on the flop, overbet the turn, if they have two pair plus, they will check raise too often. They won't slow play enough because they are scared of the runouts. They want to
Nice.
protect. They want to value bet. So, and let's say for example, same in the 3-bet pot. Let's say you 3-bet button against cutoff. Whatever the flop is, you bet the flop, you bet the turn, and then you're on the river and you think you have to give up, which I would say, yes, you have to give up a lot because he has something, right? But at the same time, when we look at MTA, a lot of the time the population will just fast play on the turn because they are out of position. They don't want to see you check back the river. So on the turn, when they have sets, two pairs, they just, you bet like 25 big blind on the turn. They jam all in and they go all in and that's it. Which means that when they call twice, yes, they are strong, but doesn't mean you should never bluff,
Okay.
So I think it's MDA, but yeah, also I would say just try to think about like how their range evolves during their hand. When you bet deciding what it's gonna do, and can you actually put a lot of pressure? I would say, for example, when you check raise the flop in the big blind, turn is a brick. You should just give up, right? Because we know EC bets too much, they EC bet too much on the flop, and they overfold to check raise. So then on the turn, there is no money to be made anymore. He has like top pair plus, and you just check fold, and that's okay. I think, yeah, it's probably, if we look at MDA, they will
Well,
probably not fold enough on the turn when we check raise because they overfold the flop.
but if I ask you about so let's say there's a flop like let's say fucking queen 7-7 rainbow or
Which like a spot, like single raise spot, like.
yeah, single raise pot like cut off v big blind or button v big
Mhm.
blind like let's say queen 4-4 rainbow, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna have like a high check raise frequency there, right? Of hands that don't contain a 4 on the flop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
And it's pretty good.
yeah. So I'm gonna have like all the pocket pairs and like backdoor, certain backdoor flush draws and stuff like that, backdoor straight draws, and maybe some queen X and stuff. But so in position will will float with like just a lot of air, right? And especially if I check
He
raise
should.
small,
Yeah, he should
and he
float.
should, and so that's why
Mhm.
I think like just intuitively, I don't know what MDA says, but intuitively, I want to overbet the turn a lot with with my bluffs,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
I don't
that
want to
makes-
give up
yeah, that
on the
makes
turn.
sense.
And then
And-
yeah, and so like I don't know, yeah, I just don't know enough about like I just don't know enough about the MDA, I guess then. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say, yeah, they will probably float some hands, but not enough. So which sizing would you check raise? So they bet like 1.3 big blind.
Like
you
50%.
check raise.
But it's
50?
wanting to go more here, right? Because I guess it's because it's a queen, right? But if it's like a 8 or 9, like I would just simplify to 50, yeah.
So yeah, I guess the if you use like a small sizing, they will probably float some hands, which means on the turn you can probably still bluff. But let's say you're gonna do a lot of check raise, right? Even probably close to GTO, maybe a bit more, maybe less.
Yeah, yep. Maybe
They
more.
should. He should call ace-10 of spades, the cutoff on the flop. Yeah, maybe it's gonna happen. It's like 5 big blind, but I think a lot of players would just snap fold.
I think he will overfold the flop, but I also think he overfolds the turn.
But is it really overfolding? Because let's say a brick, let's say something that gives you some bit of.
Well, look. Okay, so a lot of guys are not going to overfold, right? But a lot of guys will only call down with a 4 or a hand that's like a 4 or better.
So you're thinking if you jam the river, he's gonna fold like aces, kings, ace queen.
Some subset of the regs will, but not a lot of them. But there's some subset that will just fold everything.
Yeah, that might be true, but I would say in general, don't try to make them fold like aces. Ace queen.
Okay.
I would say unless like the board evolves and it's better for you, like river deuce of hearts, I would say yeah, go for it. But let's say river is like the 8 of spades, 9 of spades, and he has aces. I don't know if they are good enough. But as you can see, you should overbet, like you said. But you're still gonna have to check really, really often, right?
Yes.
And yeah, a lot of bluffs just give up, just because the money, even at equilibrium, the money is made on the flop, like you raise, they see bet quite a lot. They will probably see bet more MDA wise, you check raise, and they will have to fold more hands. They will probably overfold here, probably overfold here. Mm-hmm. So I would say on the turn, in general, I would say you should massively check raise the flop, and then everything that didn't improve and that doesn't have that much equity, you just check fold, and it's okay. You know. So here I would bluff, 5-7 and ace deuce of hearts that check raise the flop, but I would not bluff like king 10 off, king 10
of like diamonds or something.
Yeah, I would probably just check fold, and let's say it goes check on the turn. You can still improve, you can still bluff the river, you can do some stuff. You don't have over bluffing doesn't mean you have to bet big over like flop turn river. You can try to in a lot of spots over bluffing just means when they check you bluff, but doesn't mean like 3 barrel bluffs. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I think I understand. And yeah, like what you said about just trying to read the range sometimes. Like when you let's say I don't know an MDA spot. Like you're recommending, okay, well, just kind of think about it logically, like think about do the range transformations and stuff. Just like if Play It Smart, like he kind of plays like that. He plays like that every single hand, and he's just better at it than other people. Like he's just more focused and kind of smarter.
I would say he probably also studies a lot, which means it's way easier to actually think, easy, how he's supposed to play like this. Wait. Check raise. He's supposed to play like this, but is he gonna play like this? It's really easy to do that on GG Wizards, but then in game it's quite hard. But if you study a lot, then you're like, I know he should actually float this kind of hands. It's not gonna happen. King 10 of spades, it's gonna be a snap fold. So you massively check raise and then you give up. You know what I mean? Like if you study a lot and you look at how they are supposed to play, you're gonna get a feeling where you should deviate because you know how they deviate,
Yeah, I understand. Okay, let's okay, that was very good. Let's go to the next thing.
First, it's where we actually get to show strong resistance. So you mean like when they apply pressure, when should we fight back?
Oh yes. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes I'll play a session, right, where the 20 VPIP, like the 15 to like 21 VPIPers are like just tripling off, right? And here, for example, I have a hand like ready. I'll just link it. I fold I like fold top pair, top kicker, right? Like always, And here, one second.
Are you gonna send it or
I'll send it right now. Or let's send it here.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. Like I'm just getting in these spots where like I'm folding, right? And I'm just wondering, like, do I just fold earlier streets like here? Do I just fold the turn, or am I just calling down? I mean, what's the deal? Like, what am I doing versus these guys that are like look at it, he's 13 VPIP, It's like a knit fish, right?
So it's pretty low sample, but I would say it's probably too tight.
And, I have other like he's shown 17 VPIP as well. Like he's not actually 13. I think he's like 18 maybe or 19. But he's very tight. Yeah.
I would say you're gonna get a lot of information on the river. So here you have ace queen. I would always call twice, and on the river it's kind of I guess on the 10 he's probably not jamming ace queen himself. So and if you call for a split, it's like I would say call twice for the river. You're gonna get a lot of info on the river. And again, if you look at MDA, we can see that when fish bet the flop, they're gonna still bet really often the turn, but then on the river they're gonna tell you what they have. When they check, you're gonna see like massive check fold. Just because when they check they don't have it, you bet like 130. Like it could actually be a good play to float like 5-6 twice, and then you bet half on the river, and it's gonna snap for the ace king and whatever, just because he's never checking a good hand on the river. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I like that play with 5-6. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty standard with 5-6. I guess maybe you could fold on the turn, but yeah, I would say with this kind of exploit, you can call a bit more comfortably the turn because you know how to play on the river. When you don't improve and they check, it's such an easy bluff. And sometimes, I used to think, oh, I'm not gonna bluff because blah blah blah. I'm just gonna check back 6 high on the river, but it's actually pretty easy bluff. And yeah, when they bet the flop, you have to get ready to face a turn bet. But then on the river, you're gonna have your answer. You're gonna know what he has, right?
Yes. So so you don't care because I know they overbarrel the turn, right? So you don't care about that because we know that they're two face up on the river.
I would say, yeah, if you had like Queen Jack, yeah.
It's an annoying spot, right? Because like this guy is just so tight, but it's like, yeah.
I still think, even let's say he's pretty tight pre-flop, he's still gonna have a lot of ace king, maybe ace jack, and he's gonna bet twice, and then on the river he's just gonna snap check fold, So I still think I would call twice every queen eye.
Okay.
Queen x hand, sorry. So yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And then I have another one versus Nit here, like kind of similar topic. Facing a slightly larger check raise here. Like, what do you make of this situation by a guy like this is a larger sample, right? Like, how do you play against nits? Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to ask, I guess. Like,
yeah, to be honest, here I would see that the flop probably called the flop because you have some backdoors and you can improve against ace jack and ace deuce. But yeah, on the turn you just fold, and I think that's okay. Now you need to think about what he should check raise on the flop, and is he gonna check raise enough on the flop? Nope. And is he gonna keep betting the turn with this kind of shitty 4-5 of diamonds?
Yeah.
And like king deuce of clubs and whatever? It's not gonna happen. On the flop, I don't think you can fold the flop right away.
No, you can't fold the flop, definitely. But I was more so asking. I folded the turn because I didn't want to face. I was kind of like I didn't want to go to the river, and I also I don't think he's bluffing enough. Obviously, that's kind of what I was asking. I was folding an earlier street. I was folding one earlier street basically versus Nit.
Yeah, I think these two spots are a bit different. I would say the ace queen you have to call twice. Maybe he has king queen, maybe he has ace king, and he gives up. It's way easier to bluff twice ace king in the Tibet pot on the queen high board than to check raise on ace high board. It's so non-intuitive to check raise on ace high board. Yeah, people think it's your range. They don't have that many good hands. They are not gonna bluff, If he has queen 10 for king deuce and 4-5, he's just gonna check call,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think these spots are different, and yeah, when they keep betting the turn and you didn't improve, just fold. And I think you save a lot of money here because next time you're gonna have, like, if we swap the positions, you're gonna win a big pot when you have ace jack, ace deuce, pocket deuces. Because he's not going to be able to fold the ace king, right? You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. So, it's like Uri Pillay calls it reciprocity, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, your edge is just to overfold because when we swap the positions, they will not be able to make this kind of folds,
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, so my question was, I think we answered it. Versus Nits, where do we actually get to show? Oh yes, okay. So where are you actually like blasting off into nits, or like when they have a capped range where you're just going hard into them? And sorry, that sounds weird, but like, you know what I mean? Where are you showing high aggression against nits? Like when they're capped, are you just going hard, or what's the deal with that?
Yes, I think you should massively overbluff. It's like always overbluff and always overfold against strength. Overbluff against like weakness and overfold against strength.
Yeah, so but nits are automatically like. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to make it clear. Like my issue is that I view nits as so strong already because like they have such a strong range from a pre-flop perspective that it's
Yeah.
tough. Like, okay, well, even though they're capped to like having the nuts, like they still have such a strong range. So it's like, are they
Yeah,
really weak? You know?
I agree, but if they are tight pre-flop, they're gonna be tight post-flop. They are not gonna like suddenly adapt to your strategy post-flop. So let's say, for example, you open from the small blind. He defends in the big blind, and he's gonna be way too tight. He's gonna have too many ace-x and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see like whatever flop, like ace jack 5. Yes, he's gonna have too many ace-x, but does it mean we should never bluff? No, because when you bet this flop, he's supposed to call queen 4 of clubs here.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to call pocket deuces. You bet 25, he's supposed to call queen 4 always here. You bet 1.5 big blind on ace jack 5, he's supposed to call queen 4 of spades always 100% and raise sometimes. He's supposed to call pocket deuces.
Yes.
So if your opponent is a huge nit, yes, he might have a little bit more ace-x here and here because he doesn't you bet the bad ones and he flats this ace-x as well. But he's still gonna have these shitty hands and he's not gonna float enough. So I would say you have to overbluff until you can't anymore, you know, until he's too strong. I would say on the flop, you bet one big blind here, it's amazing. They massively overfold here. Maybe on the turn you keep bluffing, but then on the river, you know he has an ace. He's probably not folding. I would say this is not where the money is made, you know?
Right.
So,
Like continued front door aggression against nits is probably bad, but like if the nit is checking back on like a wet board or something, like you can just kind of overbet in like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what I want to ask exactly, but I think you know what I mean. It's just like, it's kind of hard to get precise about it, I think.
So I'm going to keep on talking about this spot and then we're going to talk about what you said.
Okay.
Let's say on this one, I would say, yeah, you bet the flop, he calls is a bit too tight, so then on the turn he's a bit too strong, but he's still going to have to fold some. He should still call maybe king 10 on the turn because he has a king eye, I don't know. Should he call? No. He should call king queen, he should call some 8, queen 5, you know, he's still going to be too tight. He's going to overfold the turn.
Right.
But then, so you bet what the turn, right? Keep that in mind. Then river is a king. Yeah, I guess king is good. Now, so he's too tight. He has so many ace-x, yes, but he shouldn't have too many ace-jack and ace-5 and 5s and ace-8, and he's going to raise at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have some straights that he shouldn't have, right? I guess the 8, he's going to call queen 10 twice. Maybe, yeah, you get the idea. We have more straight than he does. So if we want to bluff, we use massive sizing, and let's say he has a 7 of hearts. If you, I'm not saying you should always go all in, but you can actually go all in, and they will probably overfold.
Yeah, because all those are mixes, right? There's zero EV calls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here you bet pot the turn, and then there is some nuts that he shouldn't have because he's gonna fold this on the turn, right? On this, let's say it's a 7 on the turn, and so he folds queen 10 on the turn. King on the river, you have ace king, you have queen 10, it doesn't. You have ace jack, you have 5s, you have everything, it doesn't. If you really want to bluff here, you just go massive on the river. You just go all in. You just like 5x pot. You do whatever you want, but don't just bet like B75, you know? It's gonna snap call top pair and then you just fill it up. So just, yeah, if you really want to bluff, when you know he has like a decent hand, but not like the nuts, just massive overbet, and then when you have ace 10, you bet 75 on the river, you know, and you get snap called by ace 6, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Really unbalanced, but it works really well. And then, so you said, so you were talking about to check raise spot, right?
Wait, hold on.
No?
Just on the 7 there on the turn, it's saying to 186% on the turn?
Yeah, I guess.
It's quite large. I mean, I would go like 130, I guess, but...
Yeah, I think it's the same. You can probably bet 50%, and it should still work pretty well, especially against a nit. But
yeah, like I feel like if we're going to plan to bluff potentially against a nit, like just as an exploit, like bluff a little bit too much, then it would probably be a little bit better to size down a little bit on the turn. probably.
Yeah, I guess it would be nice because let's say you bet 75 and he has ace 7, he's gonna be more likely to raise against a smaller bet. So now when he just check calls the turn, you know he doesn't have all the good hands.
Yeah.
So
Okay, no, I think that's perfect. We don't need to talk about the other nit spot. Let's just move on to the other question, I guess. Yeah. That was a good explanation.
okay, nice. When are you deviating from MDA on catching rivers?
Yeah, just catch. So forget about MDA, just like the comment about MDA, because we talked about that. But I guess just in general, yeah, catch on bluff catching rivers. Do you have any like kind of heuristics for that? I guess just in general. Yeah.
So one thing that I know it works really well and it's pretty easy to do. Every time weaker players bet kind of small on the river, they are over bluffing.
Okay.
It feels like they are trying to milk you. They're trying to get some thin value, but they're still gonna have way too many random hands that you just doesn't expect. You don't expect, like they show you random stuff just because I don't know, they don't know what to do, they want to bluff and they bet half on the river and then you call and but so yeah, this first exploit would be when they bet pot, when they overbet, just don't hero call ever, don't bluff catch, there is no bluff, just because all the bluffs, they, as I said, they will go into another sizing. So sometimes you feel like, oh, you should still have some bluffs, like over cards, and it just doesn't, because they go into another line, right? Another sizing. So every time you see a fish just snap bet pot on the river, you just fold 100%. And when they bet small, you can call not everything, but you can call or raise. You can also raise, right?
Okay, so you're doing mostly sizing. Sizing heuristics. Okay, that's fine.
Against regulars, I think there are some spots where they overbluff as well. But yeah, still, I don't know how many regulars you have. Yeah, you said you're playing on like the global, not the
global. Yeah, like GG so, global 100. Yeah.
But to be honest, I think let's say you play 100 NL Russian cash.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to massively overfold against like 80% of the population.
Right. That's why I feel like I'm folding too much. I feel like I'm getting like run over some days, and I'm just running bad on like a day. Like one day I'm running bad or something, and then like I have to fold everywhere.
Yeah. The thing is, I still think, even though let's say you overfold, but do they actually know that? Because if they do, they would need to adapt, and to exploit you, they would need to go even like more aggressive than GTO, right? It's like GTO, let's say like the aggression of GTO is 50, the regs, they are like 47. So they would need to notice that you are too tight. So they would need to go from 47 to 50, so GTO, and then to 50 to 55 to actually exploit you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So even though, yes, maybe some players think, oh, it looks a bit too tight, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but it doesn't mean they will adapt enough. Yes, they might not overbluff, but bluff a bit more than what they are used to do, but it doesn't mean they're actually exploiting you. Maybe they're still too tight, even though they notice that you're too tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
So I think it's just like, maybe you're running bad, maybe you just only focus on this kind of spots. Sometimes you just can't win a hand, and you feel like they just can't have good hands always, and then you start making hero calls, and then they always show the good hands.
Yeah, and it's only versus like very certain specific players that are nits, that like maybe one person in the pool is running, like God running on me, right? That happen. Like there's going to be one person in the pool that's going to be running very well versus you. It's just what's going to happen. So that could be what's happening sometimes, like against some nits. But yeah, anyway, so okay, that's fine. It's hard to bluff more than GTO. That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to actually notice that people are overfolding. It takes a lot of time to actually see that a reg is actually overfolding.
Yeah, you need a lot of evidence.
They need to increase the bluffing frequency.
Yes. Okay, let's go to the next point. I think we're getting through these quite well.
What is the MDA on NITFISH and how are NITFISH differentiate from regs? Do you treat NITFISH as regs when you're exploiting on behalf of MDA? What does it mean? My English sucks. When you're exploiting on behalf, what does it mean on behalf?
Like when you're exploiting what MDA says is regs, are you putting NITFISH in that category?
No.
Okay.
That's why.
So how do
that's
you,
why, for example.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
On SnapMDA, I was really confused because they actually there's fish and reg, and in the regs there are really nitty regs, tight.
Okay.
It's not fish, but it's really tight players, really face up, but weak, not aggressive players. And when I was looking the stats of the regs, and I was like, no, the regs, the good aggressive players, they're not playing like that. So I was a bit confused. And the fish there, it's like really whales. So
yes.
So aggressive regs, they will put you in a lot of tough spots. But so you said NITFISH, they are so
like what is
face
a
up.
NITFISH, right? Like they're face up, right? Okay.
Mhm.
But how are they defined in the data? Like, say we're looking at some MDA, right, in SnapMDA.
Yeah.
How do they define? Like, what are the definitions of each category of player in there? Like, how are they defined? Like by VPIPs, PFRs, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for example, a NITFISH would have like PPI, PPFR pretty. So it's still like kind of. So it's a fish, but it's still pretty decent, right?
It's like reggy, yeah.
You still consider him as a reg, like he's playing a lot of ranks, right? He's just too tight, right?
Yeah, but he's not. He's maybe not even positionally aware, right? He's maybe like 15-12, but he's 15-12 from every position, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know what they're. I don't understand what the hell is going on with some of these players. Like, I don't get it.
I would say, because since on GG, obviously, you have only access to the HUD. I would say when you see really tight pre-flop stats, you have to assume they will play the same way post-flop. As I said,
Okay.
Obviously, they are too tight. They're going to have so many ace-x here, but they still massively overflop because they are nits. So if you see a 15-12 something, they just don't have any bluffs. They are, when I was studying my population at NL50, I had so many players that were really tight pre-flop. So you would assume they are actually winning a lot of spots post-flop because they just have strong range, right? Strong hands.
Yes.
When they get into post-flop hands, they have post-flop spots. They have good hands, and then you will see they won their 1-1 so-flop stats. We talked about this, right?
Yes.
And like if you have like below 45, you're too tight, you're too passive post flop. And these guys, like you said, 15, 12, 5% 3-bet.
Mm-hmm.
You have to assume they are winning a lot of spots post flop, but no, they have like 41 1-1 so flop, which means they just don't bluff. They just don't bluff.
They're truly nits. They're very much nits.
Yeah, and when you start zero coding these guys, you just lose a lot of money. It just doesn't happen. Like everything that you have studied, like this overbet, and you see some like the 10-8, it's not happening. It's not happening. They overbet, they have jacks. That's it, right?
That's it. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, and so but to answer the question, so when you're looking at MDA, there's like a category of nits that you can look at.
Yeah, so you can. I paid like some expensive subscription, and you can have some stat filters, which means I can take like 1-1 so flop, for example, which I really like, and then you put like 40 to 45, and you're gonna only see like the pairs that are really tight. And let's say, for example, single raise spots, out of position, pre-flop color.
Like go check on the flop or something. Like go check BVB.
We can even, let's say, for example, I was thinking about doing line. So they check. Now we're gonna take a look at how they check raise and check fold against our bets. Just like standard single raise spot, we see bet the flop as the button.
Okay.
And we can see that's like the no texture, no board, no sizing, whatever. When they check, they should check raise 15%. They check raise only 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, like 33% less often, right?
Right.
When they
Yes.
check
Yes.
fold, they actually check fold just close to GTO. But just this, when you put that on every like flop on GTO wizard, if you not lock, you're gonna see bet 100% of the time, always.
Yeah.
Just because they just don't check raise enough. So you said, for example, check blind versus blind. What did you want to look at?
And yeah, can we put in the one win self flop? Can you go 0 to 45?
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe yeah, it's
going to be
more,
even
like,
stronger. Yeah.
maybe not 0.
Maybe
right?
go to
maybe like
20, 30. Yeah, 30. Yeah.
yeah,
Because 0 might include like almost no hands.
Oh right, that's a good. Oh yeah.
Now you're getting like the real nits in there as well.
So can we look at the spot I was talking about?
It's probably going to be 5%. Or like 7%.
Oh yeah, that's why I was thinking. Oh, I was expecting them to be even more tighter than that.
But you're giving them too much credit. Okay, 9%.
Yeah, I guess it's still pretty close, but we have huge sample now. So big blind against small blind.
I was just curious when it goes like check on the flop, like if you can just like bet everything basically. I guess you can't. Well, I guess we already know that, right? We already know that.
Wait, sorry. So we are easy in position pre-flop color. It goes check.
Yeah, because I check range out of position basically.
No, yeah. So it does check, and then we bet, right?
On the turn. Yes.
No, wait. What are we looking at? Single spot in position pre-flop color. It's been a while since.
Wait, no. He's got to be. Yeah, he's got to be in position.
Pre-flop color, so it checks back.
Yeah, he checks back, and then we're out of
If
position. Yeah. We're gonna stab, I guess, or we're gonna see if stabbing is. Or sorry,
okay, so let's
delay C, but we're gonna delay C bet. Sorry.
Yeah, let's say here, for example, when they check back, we can see how they play on the turn, and they will. No, this is the. Sorry,
that's
I'm confused because that's the small blind. So we want to look at So check, tricks, check, then on the turn it's gonna be check, bet. I'm so confused. Do we have to put like the whole line? Like, is it like small blind, big blind, or is it?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's okay. I think we know, like we know it's good to we know it's good to delay C bet versus nits. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to the we spent a lot of time on this question, so let's go to the next one really quick.
Are you folding earlier streets than period?
Oh yeah, we did talk about this one. Maybe if you have something else to say about.
Yeah, I would say one thing. So the reason I'm not comfortable with this because all the work is done by my friend, and then he only shows me the exploits.
Okay, that's totally fine. It's totally fine.
So yeah, one exploit he told me, which I think is pretty true. I noticed it as well. When, let's say, for example, they check raise in the big blind, they will massively over second barrel on the turn. So you need to, as you said, overfold on earlier streets, which is like on the flop, because they're gonna just pot every turn, just because they only check raise the good bluffs, which means they will always bluff the turn, and then they give at the river. So it's kind of you need to be ready. If you call the flop, you call the turn. You know,
Yes.
Otherwise.
But how much stronger of a hand? Like, do we need a hand that's stronger than theory, or like, because they fuck up the river so badly? Like, can you just call like around what theory is anyways? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're making leaks on any given street, so. Like,
that makes sense. I would say you can still float. I would say the biggest mistake would be to call flop and fold turn. Yeah. If you have, I would say floats like nothing is probably bad because they are still gonna. When they check, they will massively check fold, but it doesn't mean they won't just jam the river, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So okay. I wouldn't say you should float in. No, I would say you might get into really tricky spots.
So maybe like float slightly tighter than theory and only hands that have like enough visibility, like, you know, to get into a river spot where they're going to be able to like play the hand properly.
So that's for the check raise spots, but otherwise in like, let's say 3-bet pots, it's kind of the same thing. They're gonna bet flop and turn a bit too much, and then on the river you know what to do. So I would call a lot of flop. I would call if I call flop, I call turn, and then on the river you have your answer.
Okay. And then like also I've been trying to fold like even like some weak top pairs on the flop. Like an EP nit sizing up the C bet, you know when they go like 75, like 80%, and it's like a nit fish.
Oh yeah, just like, fold your top pair, like your weak top pair, no backdoors, and it works pretty well. Again, if you look at Snap MTA, like every time, let's say they bet 75, we check raise, and we look at how they play. They will never check. They will never bet fold, and they will re-raise like 3-bet on the flop way too much compared to GTO, which means that every hand that are in the 75 bet are just way too strong. He's not folding, which means obviously you can fold the top pair just because he's too strong, right?
Right. So, okay. It just feels illegal, but yeah. Okay, I understand.
And that's why when they see bet 1/3, you check raise, they fold.
Yes, exactly. What is the next one? We're almost done.
Does villain have to meet in order for it to be correct? To fold jacks, queens, ace king, 3 to 5 bet. That's a good question.
Do you know this? I mean, this is very more like a mathematical question, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't give you an exact answer, I would say, but I would say I'm not saying I don't know what you should do, but I think there are a lot of players who call a bit too much ace king, a bit too many ace king when you 4-bet, which means the aces, queens, kings, queens hands will just be too it's going to be a big proportion of the range. If he calls too many ace king, then you're going to face too many aces, kings.
Right. Okay.
So yeah. I don't know how to answer to that, but I would say if you start folding jacks, queens, even ace king pre-flop, I would say it's a pretty good, it's a good exploit. It makes money to just not go broke always, thinking, oh, it's GTO, I should just call, Yeah,
I mean, I folded kings to a ridiculous situation yesterday, so I'm no stranger to folding, but yeah.
Yeah. And again, he's never gonna notice it. He doesn't see your cards. He's never gonna exploit you. They will never know. And there's no shame if you fold queens against a 5-bet. Because you're not gonna face jacks and ace king enough.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Some spots they just don't have. They don't have that in their range. It's not a thing. Okay, so let's see the final question, and I should have added a bit to that. What I'm really asking here is okay, when we do all these delay lines, say we DC bet or probe, right? Or delay probe even. What sizing combinations are you kind of are you going small then large? Are you going medium? Kind of what is your general idea there, I guess?
So yeah, again, my friend told me when you delay c-bet, when you probe the turn, whatever, you actually don't have to bet that big. I used to think, I check and they check back, I will overbet, and but you can actually bet half. They will massively overfold, and then on the river you have a really easy plan. So I would say, on the turn, as a probe or as a delay c-bet, you can go, I go 40%, and when they call, I think you can go between, you can do whatever you want. I think in some spots you can be 75 and it will work well, but I think if you go 150%, it should make a lot of money.
Okay.
And you could 5x spot on the river if you feel it's just not calling, right? In some spots. It would be totally okay. I don't think there's one sizing, but B50 on the turn and from B75 to 150 on the river, it should make a lot of money on every delay c-bet and probe spots.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just a lot of times I'm just afraid to pull the trigger when it's when the ranges are so face up. If they check back an ace high board, when they have pocket kings, or the board the board is double paired and they have everyone has ace high when the board is double paired. I'm always afraid to pull the trigger when it's the ranges are so face up. I guess.
Yeah, but it's actually you actually have a pretty good intuition about this because the only spots where you shouldn't probe the turn when they check back is on SI board. On
Right, right.
SI board, every time they check back, you should never bluff because when you bet, they actually underfold. But any other flop, when they check back and you bet, even King High, Queen High, they will massively overfold. Just because, as you said, when it's Ace 5-7 and they check back, they have Ace Deuce and Kings.
Yeah.
And when they have jacked it off, they just bet 1/3. That's why on SI board you always check raise against small bets. But when they actually do check back, that's where it's actually concerning, you know?
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so you have good intuition. Just don't bluff. And let's say you check again, they check back. Now you know they have like queens, something like this. You just 5x spot, you know, pot is 5 big blind, you just bet 25. It's just gonna snap fold. But yeah, on the turn, there's no. I guess you could just be 50 on the turn and massive overbet on the river. But I would say when you check again and they check back twice, they have like less ace-x and maybe they bet some kings and queens on the turn. So, you know, they're even more capped, you know.
Right, right. Okay. Okay, I have a couple spots before we finish. We're almost done, I think. We have like.
I mean, we can keep going until like 1 a.m. for me. So, which is I don't know.
What time is it for you? Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot of time. But hold on. Let me.
Yeah, no worries.
Hold on. Tell me when you can see my screen. I just have a couple hands like that. I was gonna ask, do you ever? You can see the hand first.
Yeah. So you open on the button. Check down. Check bet. Raise.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, obviously this is a theory. Well, I presume it's a theory 3-bet mix, right? Like to jam. But do you ever do stuff like this? Like you have like the best theory hand, right? Like I have the river card, right? You know?
Yeah, but yeah.
Do you
exactly.
ever fight an uphill battle? Like, do you think he's raising a straight here for this? And then, like, you know what I mean?
Probably not that sizing. Let's say he went like 18. Is it 28 or 38?
38. Yeah, it's too big,
It's
right?
really bad. So I would say, because he's so polarized, I would say if you jam, you're gonna make him fold the bluffs like 5-6, and he's gonna snap call full houses, and that's. I don't think he has a 7 here. So
Okay.
I wouldn't jam. I would call or fold.
Okay.
Yeah, if he doesn't have any straight, there's no. You can't bluff anything, right? He's not gonna fold pocket fives, I think. Maybe he should, but he's probably not gonna fold.
Yeah, after going this big, he's probably not going to, just because he's connected to the hand too much, probably.
So yeah, it's probably like call or fold, and I would probably fold, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely pretty close. I would say also. Let's see. Okay, that makes sense. So I understand. The reason I have this hand here, that I'm showing, is because this guy here, he's like a station reg from Brazil, right? But he went a size. He's good enough to know that the correct sizing here is an overbet, right? And he sized down to 75, and so I just made it massive. Do you do stuff like this, or like what do you think about something like this? Because he sized incorrectly on the turn, right, and on purpose.
Yeah, but what is maybe it's on purpose, but what does it mean? Do you think it's stronger or weaker? Because if I was against you, maybe it would actually mean it's stronger, you know, because when I have king 10 off, I just overbet, and when I have pocket nines, I 75, you know.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm not saying he plays like me, but it could make sense, you know.
Yes.
But at the same time, when people bet small, usually it's a bit too weak. Even though he's probably reg, but you know he might not be a good reg. So
yes.
One thing I'm thinking about is that we say that they will probably when they bet the flop, they bet the turn a bit too often, which means you know he will. I don't know about the sizing, but he will probably overfold when you raise, just because he just has too many king 10 off and stuff like that. If you think he's aggressive enough to bet the flop and the turn, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I've had a lot of these spots, but usually it's when you're out of position on the turn and you're thinking, so he bets the flop, he bets the turn, and you have like kind of a close hand. You don't know if you want to call or if you want to fold because you have like medium strength hand or like a weak, like a flush draw, but you can't really call. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Out of position, and then raise is actually a good option just because they are betting flop turn a bit too much, and then on the turn you check raise massive like you did, and they will fold. I think in position you can probably call turn because again he's probably gonna give you the answer on the river. When he checks, you bet. When he bets, you have easy flush.
Okay, so you are bluffing missed flush draws though, after accepting 2 barrels, like after calling.
Yes, I think so because again, if he has tens plus, ace nine plus, is he gonna check the river? Maybe, but I don't think it happens enough. So when he checks, he has jack 10 off, he has king 10 off, ace 10 off, spade of clubs, and he just it's just not fold.
Okay, fair enough. But then also he might have the showdown value bluff ace 2 of heart, ace 2 of spades, and check call river like a end boss, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna happen that often.
No, he's not having that. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, I was just curious about that, but that makes sense. Okay. So more out of position instead of because I'm getting the price anyways. There's no need to do something like that. This is just here to show this guy was a station. I don't know why I'm showing that. Like this nit. Oh yeah, this nit is a station. This Japanese 17 VPIP guy from earlier. The one I folded ace queen to. He's like.
So what happened?
This is a he 3-bet calls a 4-bet BVB, kind of a little slightly sticky, right, pre-flop, right, and then calls down versus bet jam, half pot and then pot. He just calls down bottom pair, you know. Like it's very sticky for a station, like a nit fish. He's like a nit fish station.
You know? I don't think he's. I think if you think about it, when like it's a 4-bet pot, blind versus blind, the small blind shouldn't have too many pocket 8s, pocket 9s, you know?
True.
And he's probably not betting half on the flop with pocket 8s and jamming the turn, which means when you have ace 4, you're losing against jack X and queens plus.
True. And, it's a good. I think it's a good call. It's a good call, but does this mean that he's a regular? That's like having shorts. He's like a short stacking regular with. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? You know?
I mean, I just, sometimes fish do random play and sometimes it looks good and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but it is good though, right? Like, I mean, I don't know.
I think if you call pre-flop, then you have to kind of go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. So the hypothesis is that, he's a nit fish station that like got lucky and he made like a good theory play versus like a reg, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it happens more than we expect, right? It's, we play so many hands, sometimes they actually play well,
True. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay. It just doesn't go along with his character. That's why I was curious, because he's a station, but he's also a nit, so it's kind of weird. Like, he must have extremely high one-wins. This guy must have a 50 one-wins off flop, because he's not folding anything, and he's super tight.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, but does it mean, maybe he's sticky, but it doesn't mean he's over bluffing.
Right, actually, yeah, that's true. You have to be bluffing to get people to fold to get one-wins.
Yeah, because I have like 54 one-wins off flop, but I'm not calling down that often. I'm just over bluffing, when I'm the aggressor,
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. That's actually a good point. The last hand I had here was, what was my question with this? Oh yeah. Yes. My question so this is a bet. No, it's a.
Yeah, he let the flop, right?
He dumped. So yeah, call. Bet 7E. In which I don't like my turn sizing necessarily, but my question is about the river. I'm curious if you would induce here and then call off a raise, because that's what I was thinking about doing, or if you would bet big fold, or like what are you thinking here on this river, or if you just check back because you don't want to deal with a potential raise, like because he would have jammed this in, right? If he's good, he would like check jam maybe.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm asking. I want to ask. What do you think about this player? Do you have any notes?
He's a fish. As far as I know, he's a fish reg. So like he's like 28, probably like 19 or something. Japanese, like one tabler or two tabler. That's what I know. That's all I know.
So obviously, you can't really. I don't think there is an exact answer, but I think a lot of players they will call Jack 10, 10-8 suited, Ace 8. You know, like random shitty hands. You bet
So,
small,
like
you
pocket
bet
eights,
half. Yeah, pocket 8, whatever. He led the flops, so maybe not. I guess pocket 8. Why not?
Well, who knows? Yeah.
So yeah, I think you just need to make your decision on the river. If you bet, you need to have your plan. You need to already. If he raises, I'm gonna snap call or I'm gonna snap fold. And usually, I would say you should snap fold.
Okay.
But I would say if you bet big, he's gonna fold everything. And when he calls or raise, he has either a king or a full house, right? So I don't think betting big makes a lot of money.
Yeah, so I considered betting very small, but that increases the chance that he would check raise, in which case I would need to call. Right?
And I would probably bet small. If I want to bet, I bet small. Then if he does raise, it's gonna be
It's like a tough spot, right? That's why I checked.
I don't think it's necessarily that bad to check back. It looks weak, but if you think he is capable of check raising these kind of hands, the Jack 10, the King 10, stuff like that, then just check back. I think.
Yeah. But,
I think a lot of players
I do have the best, like King X bluff catcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Queen, obviously, or the 10 would be, or the Jack or 10 may be slightly better, but still very similar.
Yeah, it's really good, but if he doesn't bluff, right?
True.
I agree. It's really important to think about like which hands are the best hands to call with and stuff like that. But here, in the end, the question is, does he actually bluff this spot or does he not? And some players will just never bluff here. If you bet 5 big blind on the river and he has Jack 10, he's gonna think about call or fold because it's a small bet. He has a good hand. Flop is bad, but he has a good hand. It's a small bet. I call. I want to see your card. You know what I mean? Like just Ace 10, you bet 5. Yeah, so many players here would just check call Ace 10 against like 25% pot bet, you know.
Right.
Just
yeah,
because,
that's true.
But against some players, they will just jam good bluffs, and you know it's gonna be a tough spot. But
yeah, and also when players are running hot like this, like they're just gonna like, you know, they're not gonna try to punt off a whole stack. Maybe, you know, sometimes. Like, He might just check call. Like if I bet 2 big blinds, he might just like, you know, check call kind of thing. I don't know. It's just it doesn't really matter, like whether or not that's true or not. It's just a speculation, but you know, who knows.
I would say in general against random players, try to thin value bet really hard, and when they raise, you just snap fold, and that's okay. Because what I used to do is to bet small to induce bluffs, you know.
Yes.
And they would just snap call Jack 10. They would snap call Ace 10, and they would never bluff.
I see.
So don't try to induce just thin value bets. And let's say you had like a full house, just bet big to get called by a king. You know, a king. You know what I mean? Like.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Okay, can we? So that's it for the questions I had, and I mean we're pretty much out of time. I mean, if we want to quickly look at I'm playing really weak, man. Like, you know, if we see the
stats.
Yeah, like I'm playing very, very, very weak. For some reason, I don't know.
So here I selected your Russian cash hand. So you have 51k.
Oh wow.
Maybe you had some. You sent me some before, maybe.
Oh yeah. I think there were a few before. Yeah.
So yeah, here 47. It's pretty decent.
But I feel I'm playing weak.
Yeah, I think you can get even at least 50. At NL 100, I had like 52 or something.
I can definitely get it way higher, yeah.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't necessarily has to be overbet, big check raise, big turn bets. You know, sometimes just every time they check, just bet half, and you're gonna see so many just snap folds. You know, like the delay C bet, the prop bet is pretty good. Over C bet obviously as well, and yeah. and over raise against the small bets when they see bet small, when they probe small. That's why delay c bet is so good as well. So you check back the flop, and then if they bet small, you just raise. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because you would have c-bet the good hands, but you just raise, and
I've been using that. I actually that's been my favorite thing so far. It's like fun. It's both fun to do, and it works very well. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But when you do that, so when you check back, you raise the turn. When you check back and raise a small bet, are you following through there very much, or?
No, I think since we know they are massively overfolding, I would say they probably made up their decision on the turn. If I would probably give up unless the run out is good for me.
Okay.
But this. And maybe if the statistics.
Is there anything that's really sticking out? Like, am I over defending big blind or something like this? Like with like offsuit shit, like multi-way. Is that part of?
I feel like take a look at here. So when it's blue, it means you are overfolding, but it's low sample, and when it's red, it means you are underfolding.
Okay, so versus large size, I'm under.
So yeah, you're pretty close to GTO.
Okay, yeah, and obviously when the large sizing arrives, it's generally from a fish. So like I'm probably over defending versus fish, which is maybe good. I don't know if it's good or not actually, but.
As you can see, it only happened 25 hands. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's quite rare. Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, blind versus blind here against 3x open, so it happens pretty often. You underfold blind versus blind, which might be good.
Oh fuck! I don't have this on the right monitor.
Can you?
I got it. It's fine. Okay, so that's.
So yeah, you're calling too much blind versus blind, but maybe it's good if you put pressure post flop. You have a good 3-bet blind versus blind. We can look at the pre-flop stats. I think we talked about it.
Oh yes, I started folding more. I really like it, by the way. I started folding more of the pocket pairs and stuff.
Against 3-bets?
Yeah, against 3-bets out of position, and I folded a lot more stuff out of position now.
Yeah, and it's kind of raise or fold, like 4-bet or fold.
Yeah, I tried to up my 4-bet a bit, and also I tried to 3-bet a bit more linear from big blind, but I'm not really used to it yet, so I'll try that a bit more. But
yeah, that seems really, small blind 55 and big blind. No, where's the big blind? Are we in the open raise button 50? Yeah, button 50 and small blind 55. It's really good. I like the stats I see. I like the. It's not even overfold. I think you might still call too much, to be honest, against the rake. But it looks pretty good. And 3-bet, I think blind versus blind, you get huge. 17. Okay, yeah, it's pretty good again, but you can go even more.
Yes.
And then big blind against button 8.5, it's too tight, but it's probably okay. Small blind against button 11, it's too tight, but it's good because we talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Like how they play.
Yeah, because there's. Anyways, that's fine. I guess I think we've done an hour, so I don't want to go over. Yeah, I see the hour there, so let's call it here. And that was very good, man. That was very helpful. What do you think about, just a question, like a quick question for you, just in general. What do you think about that type of coaching that we just did now?
I
think it's less
feel
useful,
sorry, what?
Do you think it's useful or not as useful, or what do you think?
I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm not used to it, and I feel like I'm not. It's not where I'm the best.
I see. Well, I think you did great. I think you did great, and it was very helpful.
Nice, thanks. It's like to answer to random questions. I think the English doesn't help,
No, your English is totally fine. I get sometimes it's hard to get exactly the meanings, but it's totally fine.
When I can actually review hands, I feel like I'm more comfortable, and I feel like I can give you more value. But if you think it's you like this kind of coaching session, we can do whatever you prefer.
Right. Well, I'm happy to do more hands also for our last session next time. But I think this is great, and thanks again, and we'll talk soon. So.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Okay.
All right. See you. Good luck at the tables.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.